Welcome back to History in Motion, proudly brought to you by Midas. Some great cars and great racing coming up in the consolidated auction group 384 Sports and GTs, combined with the ISP, Trans Am and Classic Thoroughbreds. How was championship contender if it were to feeling?
Breaks, but it's going well. Quivers and I are having a nice little dice on the points actually. Being in different classes, it makes it a little bit more challenging. Either one of us has to not finish or finish second, and then I might have a chance to pipping them on the championship. Unfortunately, I couldn't qualify because my transponder went missing, and I caught it in the second qualifying between my throttle pedals linkages. So the transponder was blocking my throttle, and I got it fixed. So unfortunately, I'll have to take my second qualifying as a time to do on the grid.
I think we're leading the class championship by a comfortable margin, but it doesn't mean that Stefan and I won't have a good race. I intend beating him if I can today, but we'll have to see. He's very quick, and the car's doing well, and we're comfortable.
This is how they will line up on the grid. It's great to see that Peter Jenkins has got his chevron working and out in a race. He lines up in 4th. Stefan Pushaves and George Avakomides line up alongside each other in 7th and 8th respectively. Shane Frost will line up in 9th place and championship leader Cobus Brits in 12th. Colin Frost in his Porsche 917K takes his place in the front row. Franco Scribante in the number 25 orange machine takes up 3rd position on the grid. As the cars pull off for their warm-up lap, Stefan Pushaves pulls to one side. It looks like he has some problems there with his Porsche RSR. Out the car he gets, has a quick look, and it looks like he is good to go as he straps himself back in and sets off to rejoin the pack. The lights are out and the pedals are down. The race is on. Heading into turn 1, and Colin Frost takes the early lead. Neil Lobb in his Lola has made a great start and moves up into 2nd place. Franco Scribante leads George Avakomides in the Ocean Basket Porsche RSR. Mike Maurice slots in just behind the GT40 of Shane Frost. The orange Porsches of Evert Buerta and Fred Koenig make a great sight as they follow each other through turn 3. Championship leader Evert Buerta lies just behind Koenig in the PP Porsche. Coming up to Clubhouse, and we have a look at the iron on board of Mike Maurice as he watches the battle in front of him unfold between George Avakomides and Franco Scribante. Out of Clubhouse and towards the S's, Avakomides takes the outside line and dives down into the S's ahead of Scribante. Avakomides is already pulling a bit of a gap. Maurice has a look down the inside of Scribante as they come out of the S's and head up to Westbank. Well, there must be a problem with the Scribante Porsche for it to be going that slowly. Coming down the hill to the final bend, and the GT40 of Shane Frost is closing in on the orange Porsche of Evert Buerta. Down the start-finish straight they go, and you can see the youngster is gaining in confidence as the race progresses, and he gets used to the car and the track. So much so that he makes a move on Buerta going into turn 1 and gains the position. Up into Westbank, Maurice and Avakomides are side by side. The Ocean Basket Porsche has the inside line and the advantage as they make their way around. On board now with Maurice as they make their way down the steep descent of the mine shaft. Maurice has a look down the inside and he makes it work as he flies past, heading into the bowl. Avakomides and Scribante look like one car as they head towards turn 1. The Ocean Basket Porsche leads the Rimac Porsche. On board now with George Avakomides as he heads towards turn 3. He takes the outside line as coming down the inside is the orange Rimac Porsche of Franco Scribante. Scribante takes the position and powers ahead. On board the GT40 of Shane Frost as he hunts down the orange Porsche of Evert Buerta. Coming over the start-finish line, and he makes his move. Taking the inside line into turn 1, he moves ahead of Buerta and into 6th place. Race leader Willie Hepburn rounds the final bend to find the checkered flag waiting for him. He's done a great job starting from the pit lane and coming through to take victory. Neil Lobb comes over to take 2nd place, and he is the first ISP car over the line. Coming down the S's, and Quilla de Klerk is about to go a lap down as the rapidly closing pack bear down on him. Franco Scribante is surrounded by the Porsches of Pushaves and Buerta as they begin their climb up to Westbank. Scribante is nursing the car around to the finish in order to gain as many championship points as he can. Avakomides leads Frost through Westbank. He will be pushing to keep as much space between him and Scribante as they vie for the overall ISP championship. Round the final turn they come. Ifrit Berta trying everything he can to gain the position back from Frost, but it's too little too late as Frost crosses the line just over a second ahead of Berta. Colin Frost won ISB Class B with George Avacomedes taking Class C honours. Franco Scribante's 10th place finish moves him 9 points ahead of Dino in the battle for ISB Class A. In the battle for overall ISP championship, Avacomedes is half a point ahead of Franco.
It was fantastic to keep the GT40 behind me for a while until the driver started knowing the car well, and then he just started giving me carrots.
It was great. First race here, I'm a little bit nervous, but 4 or 5 laps into the race, I got a bit of confidence. I'm sure you felt that, edging on you, but it was great. All in all, fantastic. Race 2, I think we're going to have a battle, but I'm more confident now, so yeah, see what we can do.
Race 2 is going to be great because I'm very low on brakes and I'm very low on tyres. I've got overheating tyres at the rear, so I might go past drifting style.
Today is quite an intense day because, I mean, we've come into the last round with a championship open between myself and my cousin. He's leading me by 1 point, so we needed to win both these heats today to win, which have been quite a tall order, although not impossible because he's shown a lot of pace this year. I saw on the start line that he, for some reason, broke down and didn't make the start. And then 1 lap in, we broke a wheel bearing. So the car was all over the show. It was just a question of bringing it home, which I did. Came somewhere at the back there, but I must have picked up 4 or 5 points, which is good for us. So now we've got one heat to go and just to keep it together, and we should be able to do it, sure.
It's been a tough start to the weekend. You know, I've been very fortunate with the Porsche. It's been so reliable all year. And unfortunately, we had a bit of an engine problem last week that we diagnosed, so we had to pull the engine out. And since we put it back in, we've just had some sort of electronic problem that's been going on. So we've been working on that the whole of yesterday, obviously all of this morning, and I think we've just found out what the issue is. So we couldn't get it fixed in time to get out for race 1. We tried, but it just didn't plan out. So, you know, hopefully we can get it repaired for race 2, and you know, for me, the main one at the end of the day is the 3-hour.
The lights are out for the final race of the 2014 season, and the cars power their way over the start-finish line. Hepburn takes the lead, followed by Neil Lobb, Colin Frost and Mike Maurice. The orange Porsches of Buerta and Scribante are jostling for position. Buerta is tipped round and he heads backwards into the kitty litter. Porsches are scattering in all directions as they try to avoid making any contact with the incident. We see Dino Scribante making a big trek back to the track from the far side of the kitty litter. Pushaves has also managed to rejoin and avoid any damage to the car. You can see Scribante goes for the inside line, but Buerta was unaware of him there and moved across the front of him to take the apex, resulting in the touch and this huge excursion into the kitty litter. Looking from Ifrit Buerta's on board, you can see just how unexpected the contact was. From the rear view, we see Scribante dive down the inside and then the big contact with the right rear that sends Buerta spinning. After all the excitement, the cars head into the final bend. Fred Koenig and Dino Scribante are side by side. Scribante takes the inside line into turn 14 and moves ahead of Koenig as they go onto the start-finish straight. George Avacomedes leads Shane Frost down the start-finish straight. Behind them is the Chevron B19 of Peter Jenkins. On board with Ifrit Buerta as he comes into turn 14 and gets it all wrong. The back slides out and he spins around. This will lose him even more time after his coming together in lap 1 with Scribante. Into the S as they come. Jenkins leads the gaggle of Porsches with George Avacomedes behind him. Dino Scribante will be looking to close in on him, while Shane Frost and Franco Scribante run closely together. Into West Bank and Dino Scribante goes around the outside of Avacomedes. Keeping the power down, he manages to make the move work for him, and he moves ahead. Franco Scribante makes a run on Frost as they exit West Bank. He has the inside line, but would he make the move stick? Jenkins leads them into the bowl. Scribante didn't manage to make the move stick, and he is still behind Frost as they come into the bowl. Scribante tries again as they exit the bowl, and it looks like he might make it 2-in-1 as he goes down the inside, and this time he makes it stick as he leads them up the hill to turn 13. Frost has a look down the inside of Avacomedes, but he is not close enough yet. Coming down the hill to 14, and Frost has another look down the inside of Avacomedes, and this time he makes it stick as they head onto the start-finish straight. Great racing! Into Sunset, and Dino Scribante has closed up on Mike Maurice, and he'll be looking to pass him as he tries to make up ground after his avoidance action from the turn 1 incident. Into Clubhouse, and Scribante makes his move. coming into the final turn, and Billy Hepburn in his Opal record takes the checkered flag and a double victory for the day. Neil Lobb comes home in a lonely second. Peter Jenkins having a great race, bringing the chevron home in third. Dino Scribante edged Franco Scribante out to take fifth, but it wasn't enough to win the ISP Class A Championship. Those honours go to Franco. George Avacomedes takes the overall ISP Championship, and it's Ifat Buerto takes the overall Pre-84 Sports and GT Championship.
We had a very good, strong pull-off at the rolling start, and we went into turn 2. And I think I had the rising line, and all of a sudden I just had a huge bang from the rear, and which shot me off the track, literally shot me off the track halfway through the kitty litter. Luckily, I got the car started again after the dust settled, and I entered the race back again. Of course, I was about a lap behind, but unfortunately my front wheels were bent a little bit, probably because of the resistance of the kitty litter. But the car wasn't itself. I had four flat spots on the tires, of course, with a skid on the way to the kitty litter. But it was a good race. I tried to catch up from the rear, and it went well.
Yeah, look, it was unfortunate. I mean, got a very good start, got through quite a few cars in the start, and just through turn 1, I decided to go down the inside. And there was a small, I don't know what class Porsche, and he just decided to go to the inside, which was very strange because it's not the racing line, which is why I decided to go down there and try to get past a few more cars. And he turned, and I was there, so we turned into each other. I hit him and put all my wheel alignment right out, and just had to sort of go home slowly.
Quick question. Which Hollywood actor came second in the 1979 24 Hours of Le Mans? Answer after the break.
Join us after the break for some single-seater fun in the Formula Fords.